at some point, my buddy went over to talk to her, and one of them ended up pouring a drink on his head.
Ooh.
Full drink. And
Ooh.
that it was the spark. It was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was the beginning of World War I.
Yeah.
Do you know about World War I?
Do you know about that? You certainly want to hear more about the genesis of
the
World War I
Balkans.
than this story you asked me about.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you were.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Oops, the Podcast. OTP, yeah, you know me, and G.
That's pretty good.
ILIO Rati.
IULIO.
Oh, I know there's more.
Oh, you did it for the
What do you think, I'm stupid?
No, I thought that you just got lost in the rhyme, dude.
No, I
It
was trying to
happens.
make it work.
Make it work.
Sometimes Snoop omits letters to make it fit his the number of bars he needs.
I sometimes wonder about that. I wonder, like, when rappers make mistakes, I wonder if it was intentional or if there's a person I don't know about. For example, in Amigos' song, Rest in Peace, Takeoff, they once said, I feel like I'm Larry Houdini. And I was like, is that a mistake or is Larry Houdini some legendary guy?
Larry was Harry's younger brother who actually built a lot of his barrels and ropes. He was always on hand.
He was the Simon to Harry's Garfunkel.
Yeah, I know. I'm Larry.
I'm Larry Houdini.
You know what they say? You're always one H away from greatness.
Dude, okay, real quick, before we fucking get into it, you guys sent a lot of good emails about mansplaining. I think we should just read a couple of them to put this to rest.
Can I preface your preface?
Please.
I'm a little banged up right now.
Yeah.
A little hung
What were you
over.
doing? What were you up to?
Ooh, I'll tell you about it, but I just wanted to let everyone know that. Because sometimes when I'm banged up, I get a little loopy,
Oh, this is good.
and I can get a little stupid.
Day 1 banged up is good. Day 2 banged up is bad.
Yeah.
We have a big dinner tonight too, so
Yep.
that will be you tomorrow.
There's no rest for the weary.
No rest for
I
the
thought to
weary.
myself this morning, I said, I'm never drinking again. Starting tomorrow. Can't start that stupidity yet. Here
Well,
we
good
go.
for you for drinking a protein shake hungover, bro.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
You know me.
Density. Okay, here we go. So, guys, first of all, thank you for confirming that mansplaining, while we all know what it is, it's a little more difficult to pinpoint specifically. Like, there's a discussion, and people sent us a lot of good examples and a lot of good different ways that you know it's mansplaining, whatever. But here's a couple of really good examples that were pretty funny.
No, you should definitely tell us, by the way, whether the sender is a man or a woman.
Okay, it should be fairly clear.
Okay.
But okay.
Hi, my name's Linda, and I have a vagina. Is that how the first one starts?
Not in this one,
Ah,
but
damn it.
we did get a couple of those. Okay, so this one's called Mansplaining on the Golf Course. Hi, guys. Huge fan of the pod. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, when I was listening to this episode, oh, I'm sorry. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. After some reflection, I have an example. Here we go. I used to date a guy who played professional golf. We dated for 7 years. I was with him during his competitive amateur career and for his 5-year professional career. I caddied full time for him in multiple Q schools on the Canadian Tour, Web.com Tour,
Wow.
which is now the Corn Ferry Tour, and I've successfully caddied for him through a U.S. Open qualifier, which they call the longest day of golf as it's 36 holes. Anyway, to say I know golf is an understatement. I've had men look at me like I have 10 heads when I talk about undulating greens and reading putts. The one that gets me the most is when a man, another caddy, told me how to grab the pin when I approached it. This is in my opinion, this is a perfect example of mansplaining. Because you're with another, because it's one thing if like, I don't know that you're an expert and then it turns out you are an expert, but we're both caddies. We both should know this shit.
Yeah, if she's wearing her caddy bib
We're caddying together.
on a course that another caddy is on, and then whatever is about to happen happens.
Yeah, that is a great
I
example.
think that's a good example.
Okay, so the one that gets me the most is when a man, another caddy, told me how to grab the pin when I approached it, as I was going to stomp, as if I was going to stomp all over the cup. This is also the man who commented on me carrying the staff bag. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the right way. Believe me, I'm no raging feminist, but I truly wanted to take the pin and stick it somewhere he wouldn't like very much. Very well done.
Mm-hmm.
As I was approaching the cup, the guy was like, if you just spin it a little, it'll come right out so you don't hit the cup. No shit, buddy. By the end of the round, I was cleaning his own players' balls because he kept forgetting the towel around the greens.
Wow.
Classic, dude. Been 3 years since I've caddied. You really fired me up over this.
Wow,
So
good take.
I thought that's a good example.
That is a good example. And it's a good example because it's a very specific knowledge that she has earned and you know, I guess compiled over her many years of caddying. And I guess she certainly deserves the right of another caddy assuming that she knows as much as he does.
Absolutely.
And even if I mean, it's like those are such basic things that he's telling her.
Yeah.
That it is absolutely insulting and
Acute
mansplaining. I'm trying to think if he were telling her something that was like so nuanced that maybe it wouldn't be.
It would have to literally do with his like care for his testicles. Like I can't imagine what he could tell her in that scenario. You know what I mean? Unless like it was a course that she never worked on. You know what I mean?
His care for his testicles.
Like I can't imagine.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, very good.
Okay, so we got so many good ones. I wish we could read them all.
Read a few more.
But this is a really good one too, and this specifically breaks down Francis's scenario.
Oh, good.
It's a little long, but it's good.
Nice. That's okay.
Okay.
We got time.
Hey, Francis and Julio, I must say I was highly entertained by your mansplaining conversation this week's podcast. Every time you started to get it right, you veered off in the wrong direction. And I found myself trying to coach you through the car radio. Also a big fan of...
Oh, if only she had veered off, right? into the
bushes.
breakdown lane, and I would have stopped her.
Okay, so mansplaining can typically be... She's like, allow me to help, essentially. Mansplaining can typically be broken out into 3 separate categories. 1, man goes into great detail on a topic no one asked about. 2, man explains to a woman how to do/fix something that is commonly women's territory. And 3, man continues speaking on a topic that the unfortunate receiving party has acknowledged as not caring about or having knowledge of.
Oh, wow. So, do we know that she's right?
No, but this just goes to show that there's a lot of ways to do it.
There's also some it sounds like there's some subjectivity.
This may or may not be all encompassing, but like I don't disagree with her.
Well, she hasn't. There's no room for anything else beyond those 3 categories she gave us.
Like
that covers everything.
That covers. It has to, right?
And that is something where I believe her, but I also am open to the possibility that that is not entirely correct.
So, but this
no
is
offense.
No, it's fine.
Her.
That's fine. But like number 2, for example, that is too specific, and it doesn't have to be. Like man explains woman how to do/fix something that is commonly women's territory. It doesn't necessarily have to be women's territory.
No, it doesn't. But I also think that is the most correct one.
Agreed.
I think number 2 is the one that I agree with the most.
Hey, you should be doing it like this. And a lot of times the guy won't even be right.
Right. But that idea of like just talking about something for a long time that someone doesn't want to hear about, I don't know that that's mansplaining.
I think it could be.
No, that's just like tone deaf, not reading the room arrogance.
Agreed. But I do think that like you could potentially argue that it's like mansplaining.
I could be telling a story about like playing catch with my daughter.
True.
And like for a long time.
True.
And that's not mansplaining.
Yeah, you're right. You're just being annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should see her catch that ball. I swear to God. You know, she
it,
didn't get it from me.
It rolled into a ravine, and she went down to get it. Now I wouldn't have had her do that, but you know she's a pioneer.
And listen, she's my little princess.
And
but
I
river
said,
water.
Yeah. Check
count
for
me
ticks. Check for ticks. She did a quick once over. My daughter.
Check for ticks. I mean, I wanted to do it, but she's my daughter, so it's weird. But I know that wife of mine isn't doing it thoroughly.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you say your name was?
All right. So the examples are good here. So one man goes into great detail on a topic no one asked about. Starting this one since it seems to be Francis's example.
Yeah. Did I give that example? I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, she kind of recaps it.
All right.
I haven't heard Hannah's episode yet, but from what I've heard, there's where you went wrong. Hannah asked where Sierra was from. You answered with an additional fun fact. Interesting thing about fun facts, they aren't always fun for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
But regardless, this is just people having a discussion.
She's saying this isn't mansplaining.
Not yet. She's saying where you went wrong was when you asked if she knew what you were talking about. And when she indicated that she did not, nor did she care, you kept talking, which brought you into mansplain territory.
Man, who is this lady?
All the poor girl wanted to know was more about your wife, not the history of the United States.
Yeah, but
pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's also an assumption on her part.
True, it's true.
As she said, she didn't hear the episode. Right?
She did also say based on how you had described it, but that's completely fair.
Okay.
Have you continued with? Okay, yeah. She said, if you had just continued with more fun facts about Sierra, you would have been safe.
Wow, that feels sexist to me. That feels sexist to me.
Really? I didn't.
Saying,
that doesn't feel sexist
you ready for how I'm going to spin this?
She asked you.
Ready for how I'm going to spin this?
Yeah.
So she's assuming that the female host of a podcast would rather hear fun facts about my wife than military history of the United States.
She means it because you asked her. She asked you that, which is why. But
she did, but then when I pivoted.
But this is funny. Yeah, this is becoming only speak when you're spoken to as a man.
It is.
You may speak.
And I'm gonna stick with my understanding of what she said and consider it regressive.
Okay, so the other two examples, we already kind of outlined what they were. We don't have to go into them, but so that's interesting food for thought. One more. We're gonna do one more, and this is a nice one too that covers new territory. And
this is a new email?
It's brief, yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect example. Also, hi, love you guys. Love that. I love it. Bring it on.
Not today.
I was on a business trip. I work in marketing and tech. Few coworkers and I were discussing our old college days. I mentioned that I had a master's degree in clinical nutrition, which everyone took note of because it's so random and unexpected based on our current field. Cut to the next morning. I'm a little hungover because we went out drinking the night before. I'm sitting with a juice, hydrating, minding my own business. Male coworker. You should drink a Coke instead. You'll feel better. Me, no, I'm all good. I don't really like soda. Male coworker, no, trust me. Your hangover will be gone. He then proceeds to give a lengthy and elementary explanation of how your body goes into sugar withdrawals after drinking, and you need an insulin spike to stabilize. He is very insistent that I drink a Coke. As a woman with a literal master's degree in clinical nutrition and also a raging headache, I was like, why is this sales rep giving me an anatomy lesson?
Wow.
It's a pretty good one.
Okay, that is solid. That's really solid.
It's a good example.
I think that's an excellent one.
Yeah.
That's so spot on. Mm-hmm. And we have to assume, of course, that guy was there when she divulged.
Right.
She was a clinical nutrition.
Yeah.
But there you go. Does he have to have been there? I don't think he has to have been there for that still to be mansplaining.
Absolutely.
It makes it worse.
It makes it
clearer.
More first degree.
Because that to me, that is she certainly knows the information. He should know that she knows the information if he's there and hears her say that. And then the fact that he's still explaining, that is mansplaining 101. That is as clear-cut mansplaining as I could imagine.
Yeah.
But, right, if he wasn't there and did not know that she had a master's in clinical nutrition, does it somehow make it less mansplaining? Yes,
but it's still bad. Well, I don't know. It's still insisting is annoying. You know what I mean? But
that's almost just aggressive.
I would say it still makes it mansplaining, but it's much worse if you sat there and know that she knows about nutrition.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So thank you guys for sharing all that stuff.
Really great.
Rich discussion.
Really great. And women, we appreciate your patience as we learn that you know more than some of our worst examples are aware.
It's funny, dude. Yesterday we were sitting and talking with, I think we were talking with Alex Bennett in the office, and I decided to disclose a fun fact. And I stuttered for a second, realizing that it was possible that I was about to mansplain
Oh, no.
to everyone. I forget what it was, but it seemed like I avoided any bad situations.
Well, we're heading towards a world of men just refusing to share information whatsoever.
I like sharing facts.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, let me tell you something. Just because it's not a fun fact for you doesn't mean that it's not a fun fact for others who are there. Okay? So maybe you need to have a little more fun in your life. Maybe you need to lower your bar for fun. That's what I would say.
You have any fun facts ready, Julio? Right now that you
Fun
like
fact.
to share?
No. But okay, the Powerball is a very large number
It's
now.
been
It's been one?
one.
What?
It was one
I thought
yesterday.
Oh,
California.
really? I thought the drawing was tonight. Oh,
No,
oh
no.
well.
Damn.
It got one, and I was
Missed out on that
so
one.
fucked. I had the idea to go shoot a man on the street.
Did you do it?
Well, I went to do it in front of this place that was still selling Powerball tickets. And my idea was, I think I told you about it, to go out and just ask people what they would do if they won the money and whether they would take the annuity payment versus the lump sum and kind of play up a character and try to get people to buy more tickets maybe than they would have wanted because, you know, I'm presenting them with math or something. I don't know. I had a couple ideas. We went out to shoot. We were shooting. When I walked out to shoot, the sign on the little newsstand said Powerball 1.9 billion. 5 minutes later, it said 20 million.
Wow. So somebody
In the space of time that I was
That's crazy.
shooting,
How's that possible?
somebody claimed the winning ticket.
Oh, wow. Great. It was
And it
one
goes-
person?
One person in
Amazing.
California goes back to zero, goes
Gotcha.
to its 20 million or whatever.
So I wonder this because it's funny. Like as the number gets higher and higher, people tend to play more. But
Yeah.
typically, whatever that number is going to change your life.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like in theory, if you're only playing the 2 billion one, you should always be playing.
yeah.
If
So
you want to win the lotto, you should just be playing it, right?
Yeah. Now
You're probably not going to win, obviously.
there is a fallacy that somehow you might have a higher likelihood of winning in the early stage after the big pool has been won because fewer people are playing. But that's not correct.
Right. Yeah.
Because
It's about drawing numbers.
statistically, the numbers,
Right.
the odds of you getting the right numbers are exactly
the same
same
every single time.
as they would be if it were 1.9
Right.
billion.
Right. Is there any sort of like school of thought on whether it's better to play the same numbers or to do the quick pick? I've heard people talk about it, but I don't know.
My guess is that a random number selection is exactly the same likelihood as
Right.
if you were to pick your own.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Do you ever play the lotto?
You know, when it gets to 1.9, there have been times where I've bought
Little buy ticket or
one
two.
ticket.
Yeah, I probably bought 10 tickets in the past decade.
Yeah.
There's a couple. So let me ask you this: do you have any thoughts about when? And this is not pointed towards you. Like I know people who are like super duper wealthy people who talk about playing the lotto. It doesn't bother me. Like I don't care at all. But like there's this discussion that's fucked up. Like
That they shouldn't be in the running.
I've heard people be like, that person shouldn't be allowed to play the lotto.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like, why shouldn't they be allowed to have fun?
Exactly. The obvious answer is that you can't prevent anyone from playing the lottery. And then I would go so far as to say, and this is going to be controversial, but the lottery sort of coaxes and preys upon people of lesser wealth.
In theory, right.
And they're the ones that shouldn't be. You're throwing your money away. You're not going to win, right? And the advertising of the lottery is massive billboards. Hey, you never know. You could be lucky. Blah, blah, blah. That number, 1.9 billion, in the largest font you've ever seen, flashing in your face. And people are going and buying, 5, 10 tickets, and maybe they can't afford to spend that $5, $10, $20.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Well, I mean,
an
like,
office pool from Goldman Sachs, where the entire trading floor puts in $10, and then someone goes out to the newsstand and buys $1,000 worth of tickets or whatever. Those, maybe that's less. That's not going to hurt them at all.
right. But like the argument, and it's not my argument, but the argument is that you shouldn't, like, those people don't need the money. Like, that money isn't going to change those guys' lives as much, which, by the way, isn't true. like a guy who works at Goldman and makes $1 million a year or whatever, making $500 million is going to change that guy's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
So it's an interesting thing. But, dude, this is another thing I'll say, because I used to say the same thing that you are saying, which is like, these poor suckers, they're never going to fucking win. This is so sad. And this guy who sat next to me, I think I told this story like very early on the pod, maybe. I was like, dude, look at all these suckers. And he looked at me like, and he was this like older dude. He goes, I don't know, man. $1 for hope sounds like a pretty good deal to me. I was like, whoa, dude. Holy shit. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, hope for what, a day?
But still,
and then it's dashed every day.
But it is fun to dream about it. The possibility exists.
Yeah.
Wow, what am I going to do? And like, it's not like you ruin your life by playing the lotto.
No, you don't. You don't. But
so the stakes aren't that high when it comes to like, oh, they can't afford it. Like, everybody can afford, not everybody, but most people can scrounge together $1 or $2 to play the lotto.
Yeah, but I think that it becomes a little more insidious than that. I think that there are definitely people that,
Yeah, you ever get stuck in the line in the bodega when the guy's like, okay, 15, box 2, box 4, quick pick lotto 4, like they know all the terminology. You're
exactly.
Like,
And they're playing the lowest stakes thing because that's the one that they can afford.
Right. Those people actually win those because those are like drawn daily. They win $500. Like,
is that right?
I think so. I don't know. It's
well,
like lotto's big in New York.
It's not set up to reward people. It's not. It's set up to suck them in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole part of it. So
right, it taps into like shitty things of all people, all different socioeconomic levels.
Right.
Like for people who don't have money, it gives them maybe you could say it gives them false hope. For people who do have a bunch of money, it's like, all right, dude, like you are greedy.
Yeah. I'd be very interested to see a graph breakdown of the average income of everybody who bought a ticket, let's say 2 days ago, because I have to believe that it probably skews towards lower income people.
Yeah, but there are more lower income people. So
that's true. But in theory, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't know. Whatever. Good discussion regardless. Congratulations whoever won the 1.9 bill.
Yeah.
You going to Disneyland or what?
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. That clears after tax because it was 2.04 or something like that. So it clears $1 billion after tax.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but then if you take the lump sum, it might not because the lump sum is always
Or
less.
something?
Yeah, 800 something. Yeah, I don't know.
Take it.
Yeah,
For the
pretty
boys.
nuts.
For the boys.
All right, I got something for you. I wanted to talk to you about this.
I want to hear about your night last night too.
Oh God, yeah. So we had the this trivia thing.
How'd you fare? Are you good at trivia?
No, I'm bad.
Really?
I'm not bad at Jeopardy,
but
I was bad at this.
Is this like pop culture skewing or something?
It's so sports heavy.
Oh, okay.
And the questions are like SEC questions.
Yeah.
This pair of running backs that played at Big Ten schools in 2004 went first and second in the draft or something. One was a Pro Bowler and the other is not. Who's the non-Pro Bowler?
Yeah, that would.
What the fuck? I don't know.
I feel like we would be a good team for like trivia in general.
You need
I don't know
complementary skills.
I don't know SEC football shit, but you and I feel like I'm good at geography, and you're really good at like literature and stuff. Like
I'm pretty good at American history.
Yeah.
And maybe history, but there weren't any history questions.
But I'm saying for Jeopardy, if you and I were to do like a quiz bowl team,
yeah.
the like English and literature section is like harder for me, and I feel like you're good at that.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
probably true. No, you're right. I mean, I just had a hard time with it, and the questions were really over our heads, and unfortunately, most of the questions that were asked, I think, of both teams, a lot of them were not answerable.
Interesting.
So you run into a little bit of a rut, and then it was in front of a big live audience, and
Who won?
the other team. There were 3 matches.
So is it all people here?
Yeah, there's the season-long thing,
Got it.
and then there's a playoff at the end.
Got it. So
Well-
who was on the winning team?
Well, on the winning team against us was Brandon Walker, who's really good with sports. Fran from Chicks in the Office, who's really good at pop culture, and PFT, who's also really good at sports and history. They have a really good team. I suspect they'll go pretty far.
Who is your team?
Mine is Ben Mintz, who is a sports guy. Robbie Fox, who is he's movies, MMA, and Star Wars. Those are like his 3 major things that he's excellent at. And then me, and I can't say that I'm particularly good at anything. So
Do you have a thing listed in your like bio or whatever?
no.
It sounds as if everybody has their specialties.
there's this misperception that I'm going to be good because people think that I'm smart, so therefore I'm good at trivia, and they're not. It's not like that.
right. Knowing stuff is not necessarily an indication of intelligence.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
But I'm not even I'm not trying to downplay other people's like superiority in trivia. I feel embarrassed by how bad I am at it. And therefore I was just drinking heavily. And I kind of thought everyone else was. Someone had said to me these live shows are super fun. Everyone gets really banged up. There's a lot of shit talking and the crowd gets really into it. It's really, really fun. So I thought, okay, great. And they had a big handle of vodka. They had a ton of Fireball back there in the green room. So I'm, taking big swigs, big old swigs, and trying to get other people to take shots with me. But I ended up taking like a shot with different people, but nobody else was taking more than that one shot. And then I was just leagues ahead of everyone else on the drinking front. And my poor, lovely wife, Sierra, came and had a good time, and then we took an Uber home, and I said something in the Uber that I shouldn't have said, started a fight. We didn't really talk to each other for the rest of the ride, and then when we got home, I sent myself to sleep on the couch.
Wow, you were a bad boy.
I went
There
to
are
the
dogs
dog.
that do that.
I went to the dog
bad
house.
girl, and they put their head down and go back in their cage.
Yeah, I sent myself to sleep on the couch. And when I woke up the next morning, the dust hadn't cleared yet. I had to apologize. And she sort of said, like, what was that? Why would you have said that? Why did you do that? And then you didn't talk to me for the rest of the ride, and then you didn't sleep in the bed. And that was a really interesting moment for me because I did those things because I was ashamed. And I thought she wouldn't want me around.
Okay, let me ask you this. All right, not just out of curiosity. Is it possible that at the moment you didn't mean it that way, but now you're saying that because you realize it's like an out?
That's a very interesting thought.
It's just a question. I'm
You
not
mean, was
suggesting
I-
you've done it.
Was I sleeping on the couch as a way of like punishing her?
No, you're
or-
like, you know what? Like, I don't want to be near you right now. I'm sleeping on the couch, or I'm upset. I'm not going to talk right now. And then you go wake up, you realize it's not a big deal. And she's like, why would you do that? And you're like, oh, like, I think you misunderstood. Like, I was punishing myself for what I had done so that you could end the fight or something.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Oh man, I don't know the answer to that. I can't really read my subconscious right now.
Well,
I don't know
we
that
can
I
take
have-
it at face value.
No, I don't think I deserve that. I don't think I deserve that. I think it's probably, unfortunately, more of what you said, which just makes me even more of an asshole.
Well, it could be a combination too. You know,
It might be.
Whatever.
It might be. I will say, I mean, first of all, I was very drunk. And this behavior made me really think, oh, maybe I shouldn't really drink that much.
So this was like this was
This is a nasty side of me. I was really.
it was a high tier of drunkenness.
Yeah, I was like, I had so much liquor quickly. And that's it. And I don't drink like that.
It can be dangerous.
I was drinking shots and being like, I'm trying to get fucked up. I don't normally drink for a goal anymore. In college I did, but I don't do that anymore.
Right.
Now I drink for taste. I like
Right.
cocktail. I'll have another. Ooh, maybe now I'll switch to beer.
I
Beer
know
feels
what you
like
mean,
a good
though.
taste.
That is a dangerous impulse to be like, I want to get fucked up right now.
Yeah.
I've done it before, and it's funny because you're like, and it somehow seems like it isn't working till cut to like a couple hours later, you're like having way too intense of a conversation or something. You're like, let me explain something to you, bro.
I had no,
Who is
exactly,
that?
like I had no self-awareness. My self-awareness was gone. And to the degree that when we came off stage after the trivia thing and had been utterly waxed by this other team, I just started complaining about the whole thing like a bitch.
Being like, I can't believe we lost? Or
No, being like
this is
those
rigged.
questions were too hard. This is not good entertainment. Like, why does what paying customer wants to see two teams fumble around trivia questions?
Where was this done?
Terminal 5.
Oh, wow. It was a big venue.
And the truth is, it was a really good event, and it was really well curated. And I'm sure that if I'd been able to get more of the questions, or just we had won, I wouldn't have said anything negative about the experience.
So were you in a bad mood because of
I
that?
was in a bad mood, and then the sad part of being in a serious relationship is that, unfortunately, especially since quarantine, whenever you're in a bad mood, at least I am, I typically convey that to whoever is around.
Well, what do you mean convey it to? Like, I'm in a bad mood, or you mean you like take it out on them?
I'll do both. I try not to take it out.
No.
I try not to, and I've gotten a lot better about that.
But still, you're in a bad mood, and whoever's with you is with a person who's in a bad mood, which is just not going to be that great for them, probably. But it is what it is. We all have our days, you know?
Yeah.
And even, like, you know, if Hill Boogie's in a bad mood, I will give her space and benefit of the doubt, and I don't try to turn it. I don't try to turn her.
I think you're probably really good at that. I try to help Sierra, but first of all, she's not in a bad mood that often. But when she is, she's so eternally positive that I freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think trying to help is fine, but then sometimes you'll be like, all right, this isn't like, this just needs to sort of,
You need to find your way back.
time
to
needs
yourself.
to go by for this
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to fix itself.
Damn. Either way, everything you've just said has made me sink even deeper into my own shame.
So wait, but were you like a dick, or were you just being?
Honestly, do you know what I said?
Please.
And I don't think this is that bad. I think I started giving her shit for drinking too much. Because it was a work event, and I was like, and by the way, again, I'm shit-faced.
Yeah.
Condemning another person. And she wasn't that fucked up. She wasn't. This is really juvenile behavior.
Hey, dude, it's okay. It's real. It's
and
real
for
shit.
everyone listening, I am very sorry and ashamed and aware of how ridiculous and hypocritical it is to accuse someone else of being drunk when you are 10 times more drunk than they are.
Yeah. Dude, listen, I've made versions of this error. And actually, I've tried to learn from my mistakes. I've learned that it's not nice to say to somebody, you were pretty drunk last night.
Yeah, it's bad.
Even if I don't mean it as a bad thing, I'm not trying to make the person self-conscious. It's obvious the person I'm talking about is the person I'm dating. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I'm like, you drank a lot last night. Like, nobody likes to hear that.
You know something? I like to hear it. And that's because my whole college time, everyone, and since, typically the charge against me is that I'm not going hard enough. You're a bitch. You're a lightweight. Wow, you've Irish goodbye'd at 11. Come on, stay for one more drink, you pussy.
In college too?
I got that all the time.
Wow.
I've always been seen as like this featherweight, lightweight guy. Not even someone who just like gets drunk on too few drinks, but rather that I'm not willing to send it the way that they do. Bit chilly out there today, G.
I know, man. We're back to reality.
Yeah, it's we had that Indian summer moment, and now it's back to the brisk fall, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I love it.
You know,
rocking my very nice Muggsy sweatshirt.
Well,
here.
I was gonna say before you cucked me. Speaking of, can I just say that it occurred to me recently, this is a quick aside in the middle of this ad read, which is why I hope people do listen to our ad reads because there's sometimes some fun stuff. But it occurred to me that I really enjoy watching my friends hug my wife.
Well, that is cucky.
Well, that's as far
as the cuckery goes.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
It's something about like, oh, they like her. That's good.
That's nice.
And I like that I'm an adult now where our couples, when we get together, we all hug each other.
That's nice, dude.
And I like watching that. I like the fact my friends are warm enough and kind enough to really embrace with meaning my wife.
I relate to that. Hillary loves my teddy bear. And when I watch her hug the teddy bear, it gives me a lot of pleasure.
Your teddy bear?
Yes, my childhood teddy bear, who's named Teddy.
I'm not so sure that that's the same thing.
It sort of is. It's like non-sexual.
Yeah, but there isn't a world where all of a sudden if she started hooking up with your teddy bear and you were in the corner being like, oh, no. And then some other people might like watching that.
Dude, a market may exist for that. You never know.
Oh, man, if only I had the dick that my teddy bear does. Anyway.
All this is to say
that I was wearing some of my favorite Muggsy jeans in the cold weather today. The Thermos. They are flannel lined and they are not too hot, but nice and toasty to give you that extra layer of warmth with jeans that don't look fat and poofy.
The ad that you made, dude, was one of the great branded content spots I've seen.
That's so funny. Where'd you see that?
Barstool, right? Yeah. Okay. He actually showed me the video out of context.
It to him right.
It was unclear specifically where it was posted, but find that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, the Thermo jeans are awesome. It's hard to find like flannel lined jeans that don't get a little too bulky.
Totally.
But they've got those. They've got a couple different options for levels of warmth. And then they're just the regular jeans. Everything looks super, super nice. They look like $400, $500 jeans.
Totally.
But they stretch, they move, they're comfortable, and they look great.
Yeah, go to Muggsy.com now and shop everything at prices of up to 30% off.
That's a pretty good discount.
This is it. This is when holiday legends are made. Establish yourself as the greatest gift giver in history or treat yourself by heading over to Muggsy.com for up to 30% off of the entire site, full of the most comfortable and best looking jeans, pants, and tops that this world has ever seen. That's Muggsy.com. No code is needed for up to 30% off your entire order with free shipping and free returns if you don't like them. Experience life-changing comfort with Muggsy.
In fact, when I was in Scottsdale, Arizona this past weekend, this is nuts. This is nuts. I was with this guy, White Sox Dave, who's a colleague of mine. You've met him, and a very funny and great character here at Barstool. And we had wrapped shooting for the day, and there was a really cool bar. It was a Speakeasy bar in our hotel. One of those gimmicky ones where you have to go into a phone booth, dial a number, and then a wall opens. And you go in, you sit at the bar, and all of a sudden the bartender's like, what do you like? And you say, well, I like Special K and lemon and maybe, whiskey. And they're like, okay. And he chefs you up something that's like, tastes like all those things. And so we're sitting in there. We have 2 cocktails. It had been a really long day. Long day of shooting, 9 to 6, running and gunning. And we were flying home early the next morning. We had to get up and get on a flight at 8 o'clock or 7:30. And so I said, after the second cocktail, I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. And he goes, have one more with me. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I was only going to have one. Then I had another. I need to go to bed. And he goes, you fucking pussy. And by the way, there's like 3 other people in this bar. It's small. There's not loud music. And I was like, yeah. No, I know. I'll take it. I'll take that. And then he goes, you're a fucking pussy.
Oh my God. You're like, dude, are we going to fight?
And I was like, either way, I'm leaving. And then he got out of his seat and walked down the bar to another couple. And he goes, hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there any chance that you could tell my friend that he's a fucking pussy?
Oh my God, dude.
And I was like, And they were like, no. But then
were you guys filming this at
third
least?
guy, no. A third guy who was not part of that group came over and just tapped me on the shoulder and goes, hey, I'm sorry, but you're a fucking pussy. Just like said it nicely. Said it nicely to me.
Dude, that's amazing.
And then that was the tax I had to pay to go to bed.
Did you end up having another drink?
No.
That's amazing.
And by the way, this is what gives me anxiety about being in any social situation.
I would have broken and had a drink. I'm not as strong-willed as you.
But that would make me feel worse than
not having control over the situation.
I know that it's not one more drink.
Right.
One more drink is going to be at least a few more. There's no moment where he says you've done well.
Yeah.
I let you go.
Give him a cookie.
You're released.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love Dave. He was being funny. He is funny. But this situation, this is why I Irish goodbye a lot, is because I fear
you don't want to deal with
the
that.
people who try to keep me. Which may sound really...
No, it's good. I'm glad I don't have people in my life who do things like that. Just make me stressed out.
But it doesn't matter to me if they're being nice or mean about it.
Right.
Like that approach that he took gives me the same amount of anxiety as someone who's like, oh, we never get to see you.
Interesting.
Come on. Are you really? Oh, come on. It's just one more drink. Can't you just... it's not even late. We like you. We're having such a good conversation. These are the moments.
Yeah.
These are the moments.
I'm trying to think of like when
all of that just makes my skin crawl. It gives me, because then you go to bed feeling like you've disappointed people.
If you didn't stay.
If you don't stay.
Totally. But listen, as the guy who stays, people know that they can get me with that. Come on. Like it's like a running joke.
People should know they can't get me.
Right.
People at this point in my life should know. A lot of them probably do. I'm not giving enough credit to my friends who just don't fight for me anymore.
I don't fight you.
People don't really. Yeah, the people who know me don't fight me.
No, but it's not even like I'm just not that kind of person. I don't fight people.
And
I'd like you to
good.
just do what you want. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with that?
Why
dude?
is that so hard?
Generally speaking, I'd like people to do what they want because it's not fun to hold someone hostage. Oh, aren't we having fun? I'm now being the Taliban.
That's right.
Fuck that, dude.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny, man. Like that is real. But okay, so this is the thing that's interesting. I hear you saying all this. I don't know if it's me. Maybe I'm giving myself a premature pat on the back. But when we hang out, I've never been like, Francis isn't gonna drink. You're always like, if anything, like you are like the one who's setting the tone that drinking is gonna be done. And then I'm like, all right, Francis is going, I'm going. Type of thing. I don't know if you just see me and you're like, oh, look at that face.
You're one of my favorite people to drink with, and I mean that. You truly are.
Look at that face.
One, because you don't make me uncomfortable. You are a relaxant to my psychoses, my neuroses and my psychoses. You are somebody I know is not gonna force me to linger. You're not gonna hold me hostage. You know my limits. You know me well enough. We don't ever get into arguments or fights when we're drinking.
Never.
And do
you have friends who you do get into fights with when you're drinking?
There are people that not so much fights, but people that I'm more wary of, who, if I'm drinking with them, I will drink less. I'll drink fewer and slower.
Interesting.
Because I know that I want to maintain my keel, my even keel, should they become more unhinged.
Interesting. Yeah, because otherwise it can get out of control.
And let me tell you something. In my life, that spider sense has been a valuable asset.
Yeah, that is.
Because I've been around people, not even just for me, but who I knew, as the more they drank, would be more likely to become combative with strangers or say crazy shit. And that, I needed to be the peacekeeper probably and have my wits about me. There have been nights where I've had one drink, seen where things were going 100 miles ahead of it, and stopped drinking.
That's good.
And being like, we're gonna need to get out of this.
Right.
That I have a very specific instance in we got fucking hell in college. a bunch of us went to a nightclub on a Wednesday. The place was called Splash. It was in Boston. It might have been. Do you remember that place?
I don't know if it was around. Where was it?
I think it was near BU. And I say that because there were a lot of BU kids there.
Was it so? But where was it though?
I don't know.
Was it
It
in
might
the
have been
alley?
near. I
150
think it was near.
Nealon
I
Street.
think it was near Fenway. Is it possible that it was near Fenway? Maybe not.
I don't know that I either. Yeah, I never went there, but I'm also older than you.
Near Chinatown.
Yeah. So on the,
I don't recall, but maybe.
yeah. Okay, so we went there. I don't know, it was someone's birthday or some shit. I don't know why. Like Wednesdays, senior year, we just started doing more exploring of
Yeah.
Boston. We didn't really leave campus or Cambridge that much
Before.
before that, and part of that was we weren't 21. But we went on a Wednesday to Splash, and a buddy of mine was a kid on the lacrosse team, had been dating a girl who went to BU. They had broken up. She was there with a bunch of dudes, and they had a table, and we were like nearby. And at some point, my buddy went over to talk to her, and one of them ended up pouring a drink on his head,
Ooh.
full drink, and that guy was like standing up on the booth or whatever,
Yeah.
and he just went like that, and
Ooh.
that it was the spark. It was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was the beginning of World War One. Do you know
Do you
about
know
World War
about that? Do you know about that? You certainly want to hear more about the genesis
Oh,
of
the
World War One
Balkans.
than this story you asked me about. Well played, Julio. That was really good. That was delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
So he poured a drink on his head, and I don't know that my friend even reacted, to be honest. I think he was so forlorn over the breakup that he kind of just slumped his shoulders, but then someone else from our group was like, that won't stand, and did something. I don't remember what it was, but I ushered the guy who'd had the drink poured on him out of the club.
Okay.
And it was, dude, when I say it was dumping snow, I'm talking from the time we went into the nightclub to this point, which was only, 2 hours. You couldn't drive on the street anymore.
In Boston.
It was like,
underrated winter.
it was a foot had come down.
Jesus.
And we went outside.
Fucking
and
dumping kid.
I just said, like, we're heading into our lacrosse season. Like, there's no reason for this to get worse. And the rest of the group we had come with, I think, was not on the team for the most part.
Okay.
So I hate to say this, but like I wasn't as close with those guys, and I wasn't worried about the consequences for them
course.
as much.
You were doing the Malice at the Palace, pulling Ron Artest off the court, covering his face while people were dumping beers on his head.
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly. Yes. So dumping vodka sodas on his blazer.
Vodka cran.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I pulled him out, and a couple others came with us, and we were outside, and we were like, potentially they wanted to get in a cab, but I said, no, we can't leave because our crew is still in there, and that situation is not finished.
Mm.
I knew it was going to get worse, and I had stopped drinking at the club because I saw this happening in slow motion, and sure enough, I think we waited shivering in the snow for like 45 minutes.
But it sounded like you were going to go back in, but no, you were just waiting for them
I
to pile
needed to
out?
stay with that guy because he was angry and he wanted to go back in,
Okay.
and I needed to stop him
Got it.
and just be like, you're good. Don't worry about it. You got to flush this. There's no retribution to be had. There's no win here. The win is not engaging.
Yes.
But sure enough, dude, I'm telling you, I think 30 to 45 minutes, somebody had to like get their coat, which is what was preventing the rest of the group from getting out. And in that wait time, a full-blown melee broke out in the club
Oh, wow.
between the rest of our guys
Wow.
and those guys from BU.
Wow.
And I looked up, and I remember there were like stairs out of the club, and then there was like a ramp. And a buddy of mine who has become a much closer friend of mine to this day, who's a huge dude who you know. He came out of the club with like 5 little dudes clawing at him, like tearing at his hair, like throwing these little rabbit punches.
The hyenas.
And he was just like trying to like shake him off, Hulk his way out of it. And they fought down the ramp
That's like a Lion King
like
scenario.
Zorro. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then everything spilled out into the street, and it was just this like weird, slippery brawl where they were very tactical, I remember, because they were pretty small, and they would punch someone and then sort of dart away.
Okay.
And that would be, oh no, we're mad. But then we couldn't find them in the mess, and there was a bouncer trying to separate it, and cabs trying to pick people up but slipping around, and then
Crazy, man.
like we thought they'd gone, and out of nowhere they'd like come from behind a car and sucker punch another person in the face, and then
Jesus.
it was guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
They beat us.
Wow.
They didn't like hurt anyone really badly, but they
were on their turf, and they knew the territory.
They were so agile. They were
Yeah.
so fast.
Wow.
And and then that was that night. So anyway,
Wow. Right down the street from the ride of Paul Revere.
Yeah.
How fitting, dude. Dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
What were you gonna say though? Because I can't
Forgot.
believe how long that story went on.
No, it's all right. I forget what I forget. Something about fighting, probably.
Well, it was like not drinking because you want to.
Oh, because you want to prevent shit like that from going down. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like,
Do you have that sixth sense?
not really, but I don't like. I don't know. Like, I don't ever have that like. I don't have that feeling because like I don't end up in that situation that often.
Yeah.
And but it's not only about the individual. Like, I don't. If I see something like boiling over, like I don't feel the need to like stop it, unless of course if it's about to get like physical, but like I can't remember the last time something like that happened.
Sometimes I wonder if I worried too much, and that if I were to just roll with the punches, literally,
Yeah.
then things wouldn't end up that badly.
I mean, dude, it sounds like you have been pretty spot on with your predictions. And I remember you telling a story too about Italy where like you saw it
same
coming,
exact,
and you're like, I'm gonna need to have my wits about me. I've gotten that story from a couple different people too, and it's interesting to hear how they like line up pretty spot
Was
on.
mine close?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like 7 main characters are in the same place at the same night. Let's follow all their stories.
That's cool.
You know, yeah.
That's
a
cool.
fun- yeah.
And that brings me great point. I got a show recommendation for
Ooh,
you.
good.
It's called Playlist,
Ooh, I'm writing it down.
and it is the Swedish story of how Spotify was made.
Oh, fun.
And it's
Oh, it's
awesome.
on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I
It's,
saw it the
you
other
got to
day,
watch
yeah.
it in
I'm gonna watch
Swedish
it.
with subtitles.
Cool.
The Swedish know how to make good shows, by the way.
What else do they make?
They've made a bunch. Maybe not, let's expand it to Scandinavian general,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah, good
they've got
movies.
some great like mysteries and crime dramas, and I can't remember. My parents are always recommending them. This one's really great. Each episode is told from the vantage point of a different
Fun.
storyteller who are the main characters in the founding of Spotify.
Okay, cool.
And how it completely changed the music industry.
That's fun.
You know?
That's a fun.
It's
way to do
really,
it.
really good. Highly recommend.
I have a couple of recommendations too. Well, actually, one in particular. I've really been enjoying Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, really? That's Guillermo del Toro?
Uh-huh. It's like it's basically like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, where it's like a new story each time, which can kind of be a difficult format, but it's really fun. They're all really true to form, and I'd be curious to hear what people's favorite ones are, because I've been reading like what was the best one lists, and they don't really have a ton in common, which is what makes you know that
It's like what is it that there's Black Mirror?
kind of, but it's like Twilight Zone. Like there's a host at the beginning of the show, seemingly for no reason,
Oh,
who introduces
interesting.
some concept, and then they show the story. And
Got
there's
it.
different people in every one.
There's a word, by the way, a very good vocab word, which I don't have, about a television show where each episode can stand alone.
Oh,
Anthology?
Is it? Maybe. That's not what I was thinking of, but it's the style of a show where you can watch each episode and it's not chronological.
Right, but it's not even not chronological. There's none of the same people in it. So it's different from like Law and Order in that Law and Order, it's a different story, but it's the same people.
Uh-huh.
The same like people who solve the crimes, but there are different people.
Yeah.
This is different people in every single episode, different characters in every single episode.
Got it.
Different time periods.
The word that comes to my mind is epistolary, but I think that means told in like letter format. So something close to that though.
Have you been liking White Lotus?
Yeah.
Me too. Me
I
too.
do like
I'm
it.
impressed. It's hard to pull off the different story.
It is,
thing.
and they are it's so unpredictable about where things are going, and the guy who made it, Matt White or something.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
He has no fear of not giving the audience what it wants,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, it takes balls, and now we're along for the ride because season 1 he pulled it off
Yeah.
so well,
Right.
and he did it in season 1. There were moments where I was like, what is
What's
this
happening?
mess?
Yeah.
What's the point of this? Is there character development? Are we leading towards something? And then there was a kind of a big heightening of the action.
Dude, so my parents watched White Lotus, right? And my dad was like, man, he's like, that scene where, this isn't really a spoiler alert, there's a scene where somebody like eats someone's ass, basically.
Mhm.
A man eats another man's ass, basically.
Mm-hmm,
And he's like, man, he goes, that was like kind of crazy. He's like, do you think they really did that? Like, do you think he goes, do you think it was actually the guy, or like, was it a different guy? Like, was there a stunt double? I was like, I don't know, actually. That's a pretty good question. And then he goes, would you do that? Like, for a show? And I'm like, Dad, I don't know. Like, I suddenly revert to this like high school version of myself.
yeah.
I guess the answer is yes. Like, especially if it were a really good show, I would eat a man's ass.
Come on.
But
There's-
you're
that
not like,
actor didn't have his tongue in his butt.
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, I would put my face in a man's ass, but only in a really good show and only if I were the main character. Like, I wouldn't
Wow.
eat a guy's ass to be on one episode, dude. I wouldn't be that, because I've gotten auditions before where they're like, one episode full frontal nudity. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
This is like,
Yeah.
we're gonna pass on this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you? Would you do it?
Well, my guess is that the guy who the recipient is still wearing some like a thong or something, some kind of
There's
underwear.
some sort of barrier.
Yeah, they what are the Birkins? I think they call them.
I don't know.
It's the thing that actors wear during sex scenes so that their
Prevent
privates
bacteria.
are not exposed. And yeah, I'm assuming that there is a way to kind of shoot that where you're not asking something of an actor that, you know,
Yeah.
is going to be really traumatic for them.
And isn't that fucked up? Like, okay, as if you're an actor and you're in some show, you're getting paid like a lot per episode theoretically, right? And maybe like slightly less for HBO than for like prime time or whatever, however that all works. But it's fucked up to me that you get paid more to not eat a man's ass than you do to actually eat a man's ass. Like, if you do porn and you eat a man's ass, I think you make less money than sticking your face up to the man's ass but not having to actually physically eat the ass.
What a way to present that. That is only you. That's like that is as strange logic as the time that you were trying to tell me that there is a 2-letter name for every letter in the alphabet.
PJ, KJ, JJ. Dude.
Just how your brain snatched that.
Wait, so you're telling me I get $50,000 and I don't have to actually eat the man's
Yes.
ass? That is correct. Oh, wow. That's incredible.
How it made it some kind of a quid pro quo. I'm fascinated. Let me, can I tell you one thing?
Yes.
Or should I save this?
What is it about?
It's quick.
Yeah. go
All right,
ahead.
I got a story for you.
Put it in,
You're going
put
to
it in.
love what I've done.
Stick it in, dude.
You're going to love this. You're going to love what I did.
What did
You're
you
going to
do?
love this. Okay, so I flew to, quick
Oh,
update.
yeah.
Quick update on the flights. I'm at 46.
Yeah.
I think I'm at 46. What do you-
Colorado's at 44.
All right.
Flying this weekend.
Oh,
RT. Oh, dude, by the way, just got upgraded to first with the companion certificate. Bringing the dog with me.
oh my God, dude.
Love to see it. I was like, welcome to flying with Platty Daddy, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty dope,
Come on
dude.
down.
That's
Come on
pretty
down.
good. That's tasty. Damn. Good for you.
Sorry.
So no, all right. I have a hack for you that as I was doing it, I was so excited to tell you about.
Amazing.
So I didn't have a ton of time. I got to the airport. I was flying from JFK to Phoenix, and
Have you been to that airport before?
I hadn't. It's really nice.
Is that fun for you to visit a new airport?
Yeah. Now
I enjoy it.
now that we talk so much about them.
I enjoy it. All right, continue.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good airport.
Nice.
You know,
Love
I there's so many ways to judge an airport, and for me, it's like, all right, do they have a Centurion lounge?
Oh, yeah,
Do they
that
have
helps.
a Delta lounge? What sort of food do they have? How are the bathrooms?
I like also the interior design.
Yeah, that one was
Sometimes-
new. It was glistening.
Sick.
That's a city on the way up or down.
Oh.
Well, they've developed so much in Phoenix.
Oh, got it.
So much, and now I think they've overbuilt.
And it's sort of like a Nashville kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where you could argue, you're like, all right, maybe we got out of hand or whatever.
It's not a, you know, it's a city that as the globe warms is really going to be difficult to live in
Yeah,
from
right.
fucking
Oh.
May until
Interesting.
October. It's ridiculous.
Blistering.
Anyway, I'm at JFK. I took public transportation out there because it was rush hour, and
Attaboy.
I just
Save the $140
Yeah.
on the Uber. Fuck
and
that.
and the company was going to expense. I could have expensed it too, but I was just like, I don't want to. I just want to be moving,
yeah.
even if it's underground. And sure enough, you know, I do this. I get on the air train. Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 at JFK are under construction, so the air train's not going to those terminals. You have to get out at Terminal
Oh, dude,
8
it's a disaster.
and get on a bus.
Yeah.
And then the bus goes to Terminal 1 first. I had to go to Terminal 2. I had allocated plenty of time. This took me to the wire.
Yeah.
The amount of bullshit
Dude, it's a nightmare.
took me to the wire. And I was mad because I was like, I've done this to whatever.
Yeah.
I get to the airport. I don't have much time. Fortunately, TSA, clear. Go through the security line as though it's not even there.
Solid.
And then I had like
Which terminal again?
Terminal 2.
It's the worst one.
It's
Too.
terrible.
It's bad.
It's terrible.
1
So
and 2 are both terrible.
I had very little time, but the gate that I was at was right in front of the Delta Lounge. So I just dipped in there for a second. Now, it's a long flight, 5 hours to Phoenix. And
People argue that the Phoenix flight is one of the worst flights.
it's so bad.
because they don't have the good planes,
yeah.
and the plane goes slower, so it like takes the same amount as getting to LA.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. So I go into the Delta Lounge, and this is what I did. Ready? They had the food.
Mhm.
The buffet. Solid food, right? And I know I don't have time to eat it, but I have a long flight, and I want food for the flight because I'm going to get hungry because I haven't eaten dinner. So they had Starbucks to-go cups with plastic tops.
Wow.
And you're not allowed to take food out of the Delta Lounge.
Wow.
I
You dog.
looked one way and then the other, and then I filled one cup up with the chicken
Yeah.
entree, filled it to the brim, cap on top.
Wow.
Filled up another cup with the rice thing,
Wow.
cap on top. Third cup up with the kale salad, cap on top. Put them in my shoulder bag
Wow.
and walked out with a plastic fork and
You
ate
dog.
a full-blown meal on the plane for free.
You dog.
Didn't
and
pay for it.
you're fucking. I'm just drinking some chicken.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Dude,
No, I had
that's
my fork,
phenomenal.
so I was just,
Fantastic.
but it was like those were perfect to go containers. And dude, let me tell you something.
Well done.
That meal, if I had tried to buy it
Oh yeah.
in the airport, what, $40?
Dude, I consider money saved by eating for free in lounges as income.
Absolutely.
I consider it income.
Well, it's really goes against the cost, your yearly cost of the card.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, totally. And to be honest, I love doing this, but like I have a list and I have a moment where I've eclipsed the cost of the card.
Oh, you
I
really?
put it in I have an actual list.
You keep
Money
it.
saved from Amex 2022.
That's awesome. What a victory. What a
Dude,
victory.
100% huge W for the boys.
Yeah, that
Well
was a
done.
big win. I was really pleased, and I thought everyone would be really happy with me about that one. So
Happy for you, dude.
now, if you're gonna do this, thank you. If you're gonna do this, don't you be overt about it, okay? Because I don't want the cover being blown and the Delta Lounge people to start looking around
Yes.
for all of us.
We don't want the cat to come out of the bag
No
or the
cats
chicken to come out of the cup.
That's exactly right. The cat must stay in the bag. Good people. All right.
Awesome, man. Good shit.
Cool. Good app.
Good app.
Good
Little
appy.
FWR for us,
Facts
potentially.
with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. They were flying with facts with Ryan.
We got a lot today.
Oh.
So-
Hey.
It's been a fun episode. So let's start off with rapper mistakes.
Okay.
When you mentioned the Snoop Dogg reference, I immediately thought of when Lil Yachty sang the song Peekaboo, and one of the lyrics is, "She blow that dick like a cello," and he didn't know until well after the song was released that that is a bowed string instrument.
He thought it was a woodwind?
He just didn't think, or
He thought it was an oboe.
none of the producers.
Yeah, he thought it was
looked
a
up.
woodwind instrument.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Wow. Or a brass instrument. Yeah.
And then here's some stuff about the lottery. So 1 in 292.2 million people win the lottery. You're more likely to be hit by a meteor, which is 1 in 1.6 million. Dying in a plane crash, which is 1 in 20 million. Becoming president, which is 1 in 32.6 million. Going to the ER with a pogo stick related injury, 1 in 115,000. And then having conjoined twins, 1 in 200,000.
Hang
Oh
on.
my God.
Hang on. Can you can you give me the meteor again? Is that 1 in 6 million?
1 in 1.6 million.
And then give me the plane crash?
1 in 20.
Million? So you're telling me that getting hit by a meteor is much more common than getting in a plane crash?
Dying in a plane crash.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
surprised
crazy.
by how likely it is to get hit by a meteor.
What's the odds of getting hit by lightning?
That's gotta be.
It's
up
it's
there.
less than winning the lottery.
That's gotta be pretty.
That's another fun recommendation. It's not that fun, but there's a show Earthstorm on Netflix about like natural disasters. Tornado episode's pretty crazy.
less than a million. 1 to less than a
Wow,
million.
that's
I don't know what
common.
it is specifically.
That was the fact I shared with you and Alex. I was like,
Wow.
there's there's more tornadoes in the U.S. than 4 times the rest of the world. That was the fact. And I immediately was like, oh my God, what have I done? She's from Oklahoma. She's from Oklahoma. God damn it.
She knows
She
tornado
knows.
statistics. She knows.
It's amazing.
That's really funny.
Sorry to interrupt.
She's from Oklahoma. Oh man, I'm troubled by this meteor frequency.
As if
I'm
Francis
troubled.
needed any more
Yeah, it's just-
things to worry about.
Where are they coming from? How big are they? Well, that's bad. That's bad. That's likely. Start walking
All right.
under scaffolding more often.
Dude, hilarious.
All right.
New York sells the most lottery tickets out of any
Okay.
state. Women, on average, play the lottery every 11 days. Men play every 18 days.
What? That's a
Wow.
shocking
That's
stat.
That was
shocking.
surprising.
That's a shocking stat.
Yeah.
And then I looked up, I vividly remember the scene from White Lotus as well. And Lucas Gage, or Gage, however you pronounce, the one that plays the assistant or whoever the
Whose
subordinate
ass is
character is, the
being-
one that's getting his ass eaten, he actually recommended that they do ass eating instead of just having sex. So in the script,
Oh,
it was
that's
just
good
having sex,
suggestion.
and he's like, let's do a rim job.
That's
And,
Oh, that's cool.
And they added it.
That's cool.
That's
Good for him.
That's
Yeah.
really
That is funnier. Yeah.
great scene.
It's much more visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much more visceral.
And I do think it's anthology.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. We'll stick with that then. That's awesome. Thank you guys. What a fun celebration
episode.
of,
Good
of life
stuff.
today. Where can we find Giulio Gallerati on the road?
November 26th, Den Theater, Chicago. Going to be a great show, big show. Would love to see you there. Come on down.
Love that.
Not
Guys,
Julio.com. Sorry.
Very nice. Not Julio with a J. Don't forget it. For tickets to Julio, I am putting together a tour, and I've been telling you about it. And I'll just tease a little. Here are some of the cities I'm coming to: Dallas, Austin, Minneapolis, Chicago. I'm coming to San Francisco. I'm coming to. There's another place, but I can't remember. Anyway, we're building it out, and those tickets are all going to be available at francisellis.com. I can't wait to see you guys. Thank you so much. That's Soups the Podcast. We'll see you on Thursday.